whatever you like, whatever you need to do. We're good. We haven't officially started, and even if we had, there would not be a time. Good. Just, I think it's just, it's very, very likely if it is. It does not smell like my kombucha.
I need to get one of those stands. I have a GoPro, but like I don't even have anything to like hold it on.
It's the part on element virus analysis.
Tell me about that.
Well, I have the podcast we can listen to.
Okay.
So we can get it firsthand. I'll leave you in suspense. So
basically form function analysis, right? Like, why is this part of this thing shaped this way, and what can it do because it is shaped this way, and what can't it do because it is shaped this way? So once you understand some of the basic rules behind skull design, when you find a skull out in the woods, if you are so lucky, even if you don't know who it belonged to, you're gonna be able to pick it up and be like, cool, I have a general idea of what this animal ate, and maybe of who ate them. And that's going to like help me get a little bit farther into trying to figure out who it belonged to. Resources, this book is by far the best book out there on animal skulls. It's written by a guy named Mark Elbrock, who is an amazing wildlife tracker and mammal researcher, and has written a lot of really excellent books about stuff like this, mammal tracks and bird tracks and all types of different tracking things and skulls. This book goes a little bit deeper than skulls into the rest of a mammal's skeleton. And these two books are a set, which are very difficult to find, but if you find them, you should hold on to them. These are specific to the Northeast, and they are, it's both a field guide and a differential key for mammal skulls, and this is for the long bones, so like femurs, arm bones, scapulae, stuff like that. This is the only guide of its type that I know of anywhere, ever. I'm sure there are others somewhere, but they're not common.
Volonovich?
What's that?
Is that the author?
Yeah, that's what I was pronouncing.
Oh,
Sounds like a Russian name.
Volnovich, yeah. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name.
Well, yeah. I was thinking it's Polish, right? The W is sounding like a bit.
Could be a Polish.
So feel free to like grab the books, leaf through them, if you are interested. Cool. And we will start with a skull. What is a skull? This is a question for you all.
Can't use the word in definition.
Structure that holds the brain cavity, glands, sensory organs, modes of consumption.
Modes of consumption, yeah, that's important, right?
It's a container.
It's a container. Yeah, it's a structure and it's a container. That's pretty much how we're going to be talking about it today. There are 5 basic parts of a skull that you can look at, or you can look at any part of it, right, and get really super detailed, but there's 5 basic things that we're going to be talking about today. We don't have a ton of time. This is the last block of the day. We got started a little bit late. So we have like an hour and 15 minutes or something to go through this. So there is this part. Anybody know what this is called? Do you know all these things, by the way?
Cerebellum.
So that's this,
Yeah,
right?
okay, I know what you're
Cerebellum is sort of this whole thing. I'm talking about this structure right here.
Cerebral cortex.
That's a part of a brain. Yep. So this is a brain case.
Brain
This
case.
is real literal. This is a brain case.
Brain face.
And I like to start with that one because in skulls there are not very many names for the structures or parts that are useful and common. They're mostly just Latin words. I'll say some of them. I'll try to describe them. If you want to get really into skulls, you're probably going to have to learn a lot of Latin vocab. But if you don't care about the technical aspects, we can just talk about the parts of it that it is. So we got brain case. We got these little things here, these structures that connect this frontal part of the brain to the brain case. Anybody know what those are called?
Orbit.
So the orbit is this part of it right here,
Okay.
right?
In the general area.
Yeah. These are called zygomatic arches. I don't know what that means.
Zygomatic
Zygomatic arches. I don't know what that
I like
means
it.
or why they're called that, but that's what they are called.
And how did you describe them? The things that
They're
are...
just these structures here that connect this cheek part to the lower back part of the brain case. You can see they're on all of these skulls to some extent.
And that would be the equivalent of our cheekbones?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of it would. Let's see, we have the teeth, right? And we'll get to those in a second. That's actually where we're going to start this form function analysis. Those are arguably the most important part of the skull and therefore the body, right? Pretty much every other part of a body is designed to get food in contact with your teeth. We have this whole structure here. There are actually two of them. There's a split down the middle. This one came apart and I glued it back together. This is called the lower jaw, or the technical name is the mandible.
Mandible.
Yep. And then we have this general area here, the snout or the rostrum, right?
Is that an RH?
R-O.
RO.
You would think it's RH, right? Because of the sort of
Yeah.
like rhino root.
kind
Yeah,
of thing,
but
right? No?
nope. So really what we're looking at is brain, muscle attachment, smell and kind of the rest of the senses, power to the jaw, and type of food. Those are the, so like in a nutshell, in a simplistic nutshell, that's what those 5 parts of the skull relate to. So we're going to start with teeth. What are teeth?
Bones.
Yep.
Tools
Money
for
makers for dentists.
processing food.
Yeah, they are bones, right? And they are tools for processing food. So what does the fact that they are bones mean? I guess that's not a very good
They're
question.
hard.
Well, they're hard. They take a lot of energy to grow, right? It is hard to replace bone. So animals try to be as efficient with their teeth as possible. They don't want to grow teeth they don't need, and they don't want to replace them if they don't have to. So what kinds of teeth are there? Starting from the front to the back, from the front here to the back here, we and mammals in general have 4 different types of teeth. Anybody know what they are, starting from the front?
Incisors or
Yeah, so
something?
incisors are here in the front. Moving back to the next ones, here, let's show on this jaw. So here are incisors. Moving back to these large ones, those are the
Canines?
canines. Yeah, how about these right here?
Molars?
Premolars.
Premolars.
Premolars, yeah.
And these here?
Molars.
Molars, yeah. In some species, actually in many species, the distinction between premolar and molar is kind of arbitrary. It's sort of like a gradation. But they are distinguished between them when you...
Is a wisdom tooth a type of molar?
It is, yeah. It's basically our only adult tooth that doesn't have a kid tooth equivalent.
Right. Is that common on other mammals?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Okay, so these are the incisors. What do they do?
Cut.
Do they? Do you think?
grab.
I thought like they like were there to like get through like the initial, I don't know, something.
Well, yeah.
They're not for chewing.
Pinch.
They're not for chewing, right?
First line of the time.
So they are for grabbing, sure. What kind of cutting are you talking about? Like, give me an example.
Cutting, maybe like cutting into flesh or cutting like a plant, like at a stem. I don't know.
So they could be, yeah, totally. Depending on what the animal eats, they could be for cutting through the stem of a plant.
With a stabbing or filling.
Well, so
Ooh.
which out of the front of the mouth, where do you think the stabbing teeth are?
Come on, Sean. Yeah.
Canines.
Yeah, the canines.
Is that what you were asking?
Well, I'm asking about the incisors in front. Yeah.
Okay.
I use them for biting my nails, so they go right through my nail.
Yep.
I don't have to use a sharper thing for that. They can bite through it in carrots.
Gripping?
Right?
So where do you bite a carrot? Bite a carrot right now.
I don't bite it. I bite it in the front.
Some people
Am
bite
I
in different
wrong?
places.
Some
Really?
They bite in the front sometimes.
depends on like
Let's see
what
if
part
everybody
of
else
the
do the
carrot.
side.
Maybe like at the very tip.
Seriously?
Bite from
Okay,
there.
straw poll. Who actually bites through a carrot with their incisors? This is fascinating. You do, in the front, like this.
Is that wrong?
I
have.
switch. I
When
don't
it's
know if you
tender, at the tender part at the
Shouldn't
tip,
do
I
that.
do. Right here, I think.
Is that why my teeth are all worn
I
out?
don't eat enough carrots.
I don't know. I don't know why your teeth are worn out, but I only bite carrots on my molars, in my premolars back here. I pull it in the back of my cheek.
That's the better way of doing it.
I mean, I don't know better.
I
I'm not
think so.
saying better. I'm just saying that I'm surprised to hear that people eat carrots like that.
Careful. Yeah. Maybe we have softer carrots.
Well, I don't know. It's a kind of like a fun, like
From New York.
Are you
texture
leaving?
sensory
Oh, it's
thing.
nice to see you. Like, eye socket. In this animal, there's this nice ring, this complete ring around the orbit, so you can really tell where the eye goes. But in this one, and in most of the rest of these, in fact, in all of the rest of these animals, there's not that complete ring. There's just this little hint of a ring. So this back here is not where the eye goes. That's where muscles pass through, and we'll talk about that in a second. But this right here is the orbit. That's where the eyeball is. So if you're looking at this animal versus this animal, where do this animal's eyes point? Pretty well forward. Where do this animal's eyes point?
Side.
Pretty well to the side. So there's this really great diagram in this book.
Can you see all right back there?
Yeah.
You sure?
Lone wolf.
Here we go. This is what that does. When you're looking out of the front, this actually
neat.
goes
Look at
like
that.
this.
That's cool.
This is binocular vision. This is what we have. The purple section is where the field of vision from one eye overlaps with the field of vision from another eye. That's why we have such good depth perception. This is a buffalo. They see out of the side. They do not have binocular vision. They have nowhere where the field of vision from one eye overlaps from the field with the field of vision from the other eye. So what this does is it gives them a very wide field of vision for detecting predators and detecting motion, but it makes them really bad at depth perception and like precise visual details. But they don't need to know that, because if they see movement back here, they're just going to run. They don't need to figure out what it
And they have
is.
their other senses.
And they have their other senses too, right? So, have y'all ever been hanging out in the woods and seen a deer, and the deer didn't really know you were there, and it kind of clued into you,
Yeah.
but wasn't really sure because the wind wasn't blowing
Yeah,
towards them?
right.
So what do they do when they see you like that?
Just look back at you.
Smell.
Well, so if the wind is blowing away from them.
I'll tell you.
Yeah. Yep. This, right?
They go both ways.
And that's how they get their depth perception, right? Because we have depth perception without moving our head,
Wow.
because we have a field of vision overlap, right?
Oh my gosh.
I was
I
wondering
hope that
why they do
happens next time we
Yeah.
look at them.
Yeah, we love seeing deer.
So you need 2 points. You need 2 reference points to get depth perception, right? But we have that, just like this bobcat, in our overlap zone. But since prey animals don't, they need to get 2 reference points by popping their head up and down or side to side.
Both ways, okay.
Yeah. So that's them sort of like trying to figure out what you are and how far you are away from them, and trying to get a little more visual detail, because they have far less fine detail because of the direction that their eyes point.
Could you simulate it if you do something like this? I think it might be able to. So,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Need a little more precision.
Yeah.
Can you get so
There's a lot of
Get the
other
look.
like eye
I
tricks
think
you can
like-
do with things. So
Yeah, if you-
that's
if you-
probably one of those eye
If you
tricks.
Thing.
block the overlap with the binocular, then you
Wait,
have...
so this is
Somebody
it.
told me
I got
that.
it. I got it. I got it. I got it. So